G'day, gang. I feel like this is going to be a topic that's not going to get a lot of my typical audience, but I mean, we're going to see, right? We're going to see. I want to talk about mobile game monetization and kind of touch on monetization in games in general. So I think this is an odd topic. I'm not much of a mobile gamer. I really only started with Pokemon Go because anything that honestly gets me to like leave my dungeon is pretty good. It's pretty good for me. So back then, I didn't have any incentive to outside other than my friends that kept saying, look, we love playing games with you, but please come out with us. There wasn't enough incentive. I'm like, but we can hang and game. Like, hello? I'm a very PC gamer. I love my computer gaming on my computer. I love it. I love my space and I love being snugly warm inside with all of my snacks in reach. What more is there? Really, it's peak content, peak existence. But yeah, I'd started mobile gaming because of Pokemon Go. All of my friends were playing the first Niantic game. I think it's their first, Ingress, where you are two different groups, being AI and aliens, fighting each other and making portals and trying to like take over the Earth, which is a really cool concept. Honestly awesome. But I was also like, yeah, but I'm cozy. But then I'm not the biggest fan of Pokemon, but I did watch the show growing up as a kid. I'm not a console player. I'm not a card game player, in the sense of collectible card games. I like card games, but not collectible card games were always too expensive for me, because I was buying multi-$100 of video games and hardware for playing them. So that was my hobby. But yeah, I'm not really that big of a Pokemon fan, so I didn't play it because it was Pokemon. I played it because my friends were walking, and that was a shock to me. So I thought, okay, let's go for a walk, and I got pretty hooked. It was a genuinely fun experience, and in the early days, Niantic wasn't monetizing the ever-loving heck out of it as they do now. It was pretty fair. It felt like, okay, you can buy for more upgrades and you can do this and that. That makes sense. The way in which that you put money on the game made sense. And then raids came out and you could actually pay to win, which is always frustrating, but companies have to make money. I understand it, but it's not exactly like this is a broke company. And it's a game that is very much evolving around a very, very broad audience. And I think that for me too is where things get very complicated. So when your audience can consist of significant numbers of children, I think monetization should be a concern. I genuinely think it shouldn't be as egregious as it is in current day era. So yeah, skip ahead a lot. And when I was in university, I was playing Fallout Shelter. It's just a really fun thing to log on every day and do little updates and stuff like that. Just mess around with it while I was outside. I want to always be gaming, okay? Don't judge. I don't want to say I have a problem. I really don't. It's just my preference. I know that a lot of people talk about game addiction. I don't have to game. I just really like it. And there are plenty of times in my life where I've had extended periods where I didn't game, but I was like, this is fun. I do like outside. I do like doing this, but I could be cozy in my jammies, like with my snacks, like hanging out with my friends, like in a way in which that I can say, well, I'm going now, bye. Oh, I'm back now. You have my friends like so close that they feel like they're with me. It's awesome. It's a purely extraordinarily unique experience. And I think that's why I got so hooked on Pokemon Go. In my home city, I would go out and I would see all of my regulars. So for years, I was spending my days off walking for 8 or more hours, just hanging out with different groups of friends, because it was one big group, but people would go and leave throughout the day. Some people would stay around all day like me, but most people had this thing called a life, and they would go out and come back. But I would be out there on all of my time off, all of my free time, just hanging out with my friends. And it started out pretty good too, because I heard these really loud, obnoxious people, and I'm like, please don't tell me they're playing this game. Oh, they're playing this game. Obviously cut to a week later and they're my friends. So, you know, that's how mobile gaming got me. But it was a really precious experience because I'm from South Australia, which is it's the joke of Australia, but it's Australia, right? It's an incredibly privileged country, very, very privileged country. And its main city, the city centre especially, is a big country town. So people are really friendly and open and inviting. And because the population is of specific demographics too, you do often run into the same people pretty consistently. So you get that vibe. And the same is like, you know, we'd all go to the city centre to play specifically because that's where the most concentration of people were. So all of the gamers were gathering together, which in my home city, honestly, is one of the best experiences that I've had. Same with tabletop gaming. There was a tabletop club, and it's a small group of people that play tabletop in person in my city, so we all knew each other. And it was a pretty unique and extraordinary experience to have this like unique own group. And that's, I think, in particular why I got into the whole genre. The social aspect was awesome and extraordinary. And now I don't play socially. I still do a little bit here, but because it's such a bigger country, it's tricky to try and find people that are playing at the same time as you. Like if I go outside during the middle of the day, it's not really that common that I'll find people even on weekends or what have you. It's not the same environment, so it doesn't hit the same. So I definitely haven't played it as much, which you definitely see a big difference. And enjoy my massive tangent, I'm sorry, but it was a really cool thing that I kind of wanted to talk about. Unlucky, I'm so sorry. But mobile game monetization has become very different. It has become a very, very different beast. And from going to like a company that you trust, such as Niantic, or a company that you trust, I mean, we are stupid to trust companies. We genuinely and sincerely are, but we do. Even the people that know that and fully aware that companies, one, change, and two, that publicly traded companies are expected to continue building revenue. So they're going to get worse. So the best time in which that you can ever engage with a company that makes something that you enjoy is at the start of it. Like the early days of Pokemon Go, incomparable, and are never going to be the same again because of that fact, which is sad. It truly, truly is. And that's not always the case, but that is definitely the case in most situations. So definitely enjoy something while you have it, particularly gaming, especially mobile gaming. But yeah, we trusted these companies stupidly. And I think the biggest example right now for me is Bethesda's new mobile game, Castles. It's just such a really, really great game for me to have on in the background while I'm writing, especially because it's exhausting. I've recently been writing a lot, between 5,000 to 10,000 words a day, and I'll get fatigue between scenes and I'll just sit there thinking, okay, so this character needs to go there. And I'll just be tapping away at my little mobile game, which is very, very helpful for me to have that break. But the monetization of this freaking game, it's absurd, truly absurd. It has a battle pass for a single player mobile game. Like, what are we actually doing? And it's not cheap. There also is consistent when I log in and get pop-ups of, hey, buy this literally $20 to $40 pack that is a character that is going to die in a couple months. It is, where have we gone wrong? Mobile game monetization is by far one of the most disgusting examples of egregious gaming monetization. And gaming monetization is already a massive issue. So even when you talk about all the fun and everything you get out of a mobile game experience, which it's limited, limited for each person, because mobile gaming experience is different than actually interacting with people in a typical gaming sense, unless you are so fortunate like me, which is why I went through that example of my tangent of talking about how much fun it was to build social networks that didn't otherwise exist because of gaming, which is my entire life. Like all of my friends, almost all of my friends are built on gaming, including people that have come from all around the world to visit me because of those gaming connections, because gaming is an awesome joiner, something that can join people all over the world. So there are so many good positives to this. There are so many awesome things. And yet this is a sector in which that preys on people that largely doesn't get to have that. It's not like mobile gaming sector is definitely one that has far less interactivity than the PC gaming, which means it is significantly more easy to exploit people. I mean, this topic is so big that trying to cover it in just a 10-minute video is such an insult. It truly is. But I wanted to keep it a little bit light too, because it is profoundly disgusting. Truly. I don't think there are as many things that I can see as being like egregiously problematic in the gaming space as mobile gaming. It is the biggest sector in gaming, and it is the most problematic in my opinion. And I think too, the way in which that Google is accountable, and I don't know about the Apple Store, but in terms of their ads, like there are so many times that I'm enjoying just playing a little game and it's like, okay, click the little thing to get an ad, whatever. And then there's just some eroticism that's immediately on my screen. I'm not against that content, but it should be, we should engage in content that we choose to engage in, specifically content that can be problematic. It's a bad time in mobile gaming, I think. And yeah, I definitely want to hear people's opinions on this topic. I want to make a longer video about this when I have the time, but time is it's really not something I have available to spend on even such a significant topic. I would love to talk about this more, and I'd love to hear about how people feel about this topic in particular and how problematic not only the monetization, the types of games we're seeing, the way that it's specifically exploiting our dopamine requirements of click thing, make happy. It's so problematic. And again, this I think the Bethesda game, the Bethesda Castles, it's a really cool game. It's a unique design. It's really fun. It's really interesting. The fact that you have 1 day equals 1 year of life and then the characters will eventually die is really cool and fantastic, despite the tragically limited systems. It is clearly a cash grab. Don't get me wrong. Clearly a cash grab. If they really wanted legacies, where's Family Trees? Am I right? Side tangent. But these games are just like that. They're just enough to keep you invested. They're just exciting and interesting and unique enough to have flavor and interest in there to keep you playing, but while also bleeding you dry if you're the type of person that puts money on mobile games. Personally, my recommendation, don't do it. Let's stop these companies from doing that by not putting money on these games. I say that, it's not going to work. I know that. But that's my opinion. I'm not going to put money on these games until they stop trying to bleed me dry. I refuse. I think everyone should refuse regardless of how much income we have. But yeah, what do you guys think about this one? It's a heavy one. I tried to keep it light. Plus it was really fun to talk about my Pokemon days. It's really fun. OG Pokemon days were pretty awesome. Yeah, what do you guys think? Definitely see you guys in the next one, and I want to make a big video on this point. On this one, when I finally have the time. I just need to learn how to not sleep and then we're fine. My whole life will be drastically easier. See you guys in the next one. Bye.